Jamuna Tiro Banachari Jamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Yasodhanandana Brajajanarandana Yamuna Tiro Banachari Yamuna Tiro Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Mansa Paribhraja Acharya Sakari Small Tam Saraswati Swami Prabhupada Jaya Nanda Gori Vaishnava Jaya Ramacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Jaya Names of the whole Sri Krishna Sri Radha Krishna Bhogavna Sam Kanda Radha Kanda Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Navadvip Dham ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Jamuna Maya ki jai, Guru Dwarka Dham ki jai, Swami Bhaktivedanta ki jai, all glories to that. All glories to that. Thank you very much.
वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते 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 वासुदेवाय सोहम नृपेन्द्र रहिता पुरुषोत्तमेन सख्या प्रियेण सुहृदा हृदयेन शून्यः अध्वनि उरुक्रम परिग्रहम् अंगा रक्षन् गोपाल असद्भिः अबलेव विनिर्जितो अस्मि सोहम नृपेन्द्र रहितः पुरुषोत्तमेन सोहम नृपेन्द्र रहितः पुरुषोत्तमेन सख्या प्रियेण सुहृदा हृदयेन शून्य सख्या प्रियेण सुहृदा हृदयेन शून्य Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Goparasadbirabaleva vinirjitosmi Goparasadbirabaleva vinirjitosmi Soham nupendra rahitah purushottamena Soham nupendra rahitah purushottamena Sakya priyena suhrida hridayena shunya Sakya priyena suhrida hridayena shunya Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Goparasadbhirabaleva vinirjitosmi Goparasadbhirabaleva vinirjitosmi Soham nirpendarahitah purushottamena Soham nirpendarahitah purushottamena Sakya priyena suhrida hridayena shunya Sakya priyena suhrida hridayena shunya Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Parigrahamangarakshan Goparasadbhirabaleva vinirjitosmi Goparasadbhirabaleva vinirjitosmi Soham nirpendarahitah purushottamena Sanapayena suhrida hridayena shunya Advanyurukrama parigrahamangarakshan Goparasad Saha that Aham myself Nripendra O Emperor Rahitaha bereft of Purushottamena by the Supreme Lord Sakya by my friend Priyena by my dearmost Suhrida by the well-wisher Hridayena by the heart and soul Shunyaha vacant Advani recently Urukrama parigraham the wives of the all-powerful Anga bodies Rakshan while protecting Gopai by the cowherds Asadbhi by the infidels Abala iva like a weak woman Vinirjitaha asmi I have been defeated. Translation. O Emperor, now I am separated from my friend and dearmost well-wisher, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore my heart appears to be void of everything. In his absence I have been defeated by a number of infidel cowherdsmen while I was guarding the bodies of all the wives of Krishna.
So after departure of Krishna's all the wives, 16,108, they were being taken care of by Arjuna. But some cowherdsmen, they plundered all the queens, and Arjuna could not protect them. And this is the instance that we may be very powerful. So long Krishna keeps us powerful, we are not independently powerful. Even in the case of Arjuna, we are very much proud of our the Janmaisajya Sutasri, material world, everyone is very much proud of his birth, riches, and education, and beauty. Beauty. These four things are obtained as a result of pious activities. And as a result of impious activities, the opposite number. Not birth in a very nice family or nation, no wealth, poverty, no education, and no beauty. But one should know that these assets, material assets, just like you American people, you have got nice assets. You are born of a very respectful nation. American nations are still honored all over the world. So that's a good opportunity for you. Janma, you are born in. Every American is, in comparison to India, every American is rich man. Because any ordinary man earns here at least 4,000, 5,000 rupees. In India, even the High Court judge, he cannot earn so much. At most 4,000. So, you should be conscious that by the grace of Krishna, you have got all these things. There is no poverty, there is no scarcity, there is good chance of education, and you are wealthy, beautiful, everything. Janmai Sajja Sutasri. But if you do not become Krishna conscious, if you misuse these assets, then again Punarmushika Bhava. You know the story, Punarmushika Bhava? Anyone knows? Punarmushika Bhava means again you become a mouse. A mouse came to a saintly person. Sir, I am very much troubled. What is that? People generally go to saintly person for some material profit. That is the nature, animalistic nature. Why you should go to a saintly person for some material benefit? No, you go there to learn what is God. That is real business. Anyway, saintly person sometimes receive. So what do you want? Just like Lord Shiva, his devotees are all like that, mouse. Want something. Sir, this cat troubles me very much. So what do you want? Then let me become a cat. All right, he become a cat. So he became a cat. Then after a few days, he came back. Sir, still I am in trouble. What is that? The dogs. They trouble us very much. So what do you want? Now I want to become a dog. All right, you become. Then after a few days, one after there is nature's arrangement. One is weak, one is strong. That is nature's arrangement. So after all, he wanted to become a tiger. So by the grace of the saintly person, he became a tiger. And when he became a tiger, he was staring on the saintly person like that. So the saintly person asked him, you want to eat me? Yes. Oh, then you again become a mouse. If by my grace, by my favor, you have become tiger, so I again condemn you to become a mouse. So, you American people, you have become tiger now. Nixon tiger. But if you don't behave obligely, if you don't feel obliged, if the tiger feels obliged, that by the grace of this saintly person, I have come to this stage of becoming a tiger, I must be very much obliged to him. But instead of becoming obliged, if you want to eat, then again become a mouse. If the saintly person has got the power to make you from mouse to tiger, then he can convert you again from tiger to mouse. You must always remember this. So by the grace of God, Krishna, you have become so powerful, nation, rich, beautiful, educated, but grace of Krishna you have become, but if you forget Krishna, then you are again going to be mouse. Remember that. Nobody will care for you. Just like Englishmen. Englishmen, they established the British Empire, great powerful, most powerful nation in the world. Now they are not so, because they misuse their power. So you get power, opulence, by the grace of Lord Krishna. And if you misuse it, then you become again, that is happening. That is the nature's law. Nature's law. So here, Arjuna, by his personal behavior, he is showing that without Krishna, I was so great fighter that I took charge of the 16,000 wives of Krishna to take them safely because Krishna passed away, so they must be given protection. He was Krishna's friend, but he could not do so. All the queens were plundered by cowherdsmen. Therefore he says that Gopai Rasadvi. Cowherdsmen, they are not very powerful, or they are ordinary men, cowherdsmen. But Arjuna was Kshatriya, so powerful, so he was defeated by them. Therefore he is regretting that Asadvi. If I would have been defeated by another powerful person, that would have been glory. But I have been defeated by the cowherdsmen. You see. Asadvi, they are not counted amongst gentlemen. Asadvi, abalaiva, abalaiva. Abala is another name of the woman. Just like if somebody attacks a woman, any young man, when he has got 16 years old, he can attack any woman. But a woman, even though she is 16 years or 18 years or 20 years, she becomes immediately victim. So, abalaiva. Even the woman is higher in age, still she cannot protect. Therefore, woman requires protection. Woman requires protection. According to Vedic culture, woman has no independence because they cannot keep their independence. It is not possible. A 16-year-old boy can go safely all over the world, but a 16-year girl cannot. That is not possible. By nature they are weak. So they require protection. And until she reaches youthhood, she is protected by the father. As soon as she reaches youthhood, she is given to a young man, her husband, to give protection. And in the old days, she is protected by the elderly sons. This is the Vedic culture. There are three phases of life: childhood, youthhood and old age. So, because they are weak, in the Western countries, the women are given freedom like man, but that is unnatural. Unnatural. And therefore, these poor souls are being exploited by the other section. It is a great deficiency of the Western sociology. But the Vedic culture is different from this. Woman is not given independence, and generally one man marries more than one wife. That is Vedic culture. Just like see, Krishna has 16,108. That is allowed. Krishna was personality of Godhead. He could maintain his wife 16 million wives. That is not difficult for him. But even ordinary man, Kshatriyas especially, they used to marry more than one wife. Still, not only wife, but one wife, one princess is married, and along with her, 100, 200 maidservants. They will go with the king. Just like when Vasudeva was married with Devaki, some hundreds of maidservants was given. So, women, the conclusion is the women are weak. They should be given protection. They should not be ill-treated. Just like a father gives protection to the children, it does not mean it is ill-treatment. There is no question of, but protection. Otherwise, abalaivo, they can be victimized by any man powerful, because man is powerful. So, soham nipenda rahita purushottami, We also require. Don't be proud because I am man, I don't require protection. Here it is said, Krishna says, Arjuna says, Purushottamena, soham rahita. Now I have no protection. Arjuna was so great hero, still he required protection. Purushottamena. Purusha means enjoyer. The supreme enjoyer is Krishna. If he does not give protection, you cannot enjoy your life. That is not possible. Therefore Krishna says, Krishna is giving protection, but not as much as he wants to give you protection, because you deny to accept it. Because you deny to accept his protection, therefore he is giving protection to you as much as you want. And if you want full protection, then the condition is sarvadharman parityajya mamekam saranam viju. Give up your own manufactured, concocted means of protection. You just surrender unto me and I will give you protection. Protection for what? Protection from sinful activities. We are victimized by our sinful activities due to ignorance. We do not know what to do, what not to do. Out of ignorance we do something and we become victimized by the laws of nature. But if you surrender to Krishna, He'll give you protection. He'll never be victimized. He'll never be victimized. Because Krishna said, Tesang satadayuktanang bhajatang priti purvakam buddhi yogam dadamitam jina mam upajant. Krishna will guide you. Krishna is within yourself and He can speak to you. You can hear Him also, provided you are fully surrendered. Though it does not mean that Arjuna was not fully surrendered. Arjuna was fully surrendered and Arjuna was fully protected by Krishna. Neither these queens, 16,000 queens, could be plundered away by some cowherdsman. But it is an instance that even a person like Arjuna, he will be helpless without Krishna. He will be helpless. What to speak of ourselves? He will be helpless. That is it. He is showing that example. Krishna, Soham Narendra Rahita Purusattam. Now I am bereft of the association of my dearest friend, Krishna. Sakhya. Sakhya means friend. Sakhya. Priyena. Not only friend, very dear friend. Priyena. Suhida. Suhida means sweet. There are different kinds of friends. But sweet is a friend who always think of his friend, how he will be happy. That is called sweet. This description is given about the devotees also. Srida sarvabhutanam. A devotee is always thinking how whole world will be happy. Srida sarva. Not only human being, but animals. Birds, trees, beasts, everyone. A devotee does not like to see even a grass is unreasonably cut. That is devotee business. That is therefore Vaishnava. What is that? Vaishnavana. Vaishnava is happy. Just like say, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj said, Prahlad Maharaj was praying Lord Nrsimhadev to pacify him. So the commentator says that Prahlad Maharaj might have been very much afraid of this ferocious feature of the Lord Nrsimhadev. So he assured Nrsimhadev, my dear Lord, don't think that I am afraid of your this feature. No. Naivad Vijay. Neither I am afraid of this materialistic existence. Naivad Vijay Paradurattaya Vaitaranya. Tad Vijja Gayana Maha Mritamagna Chitta. I am quite confident that I have no fear. And he has practically seen that his father teased him in so many ways, but at last he was protected. So why he should not believe? He knows that I am dedicated my life to Krishna, and Krishna is not so ungrateful that he will not give me protection. How it is possible? But one who does not believe in Krishna, he thinks that he will protect himself. Apashyatam atmadattam grihishu griyamidina. Those who are not God realized, they think that they will be protected by their society, friendship, love, country, nation, like that. But that is not possible. Just like you are flying in the sky, so many aeroplanes at a time, sometimes in a bunch, in a group they fly. But if one of the aeroplane is in danger, no other aeroplane can help. It's finished. So similarly, we are also flying as aeroplane in the open sky. The protection, you don't expect protection from your so-called society, friends in Allah, materially. When there is question of danger, you have to protect with your own strength. Therefore, if we want actually protection, we should take protection of the Supreme, Krishna or his devotee. Krishna is Sridham Sarvabhutana. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhoktaram Jagatavasam Sarvalokamayassaram Sridham Sarvabhutana. I am the friend of everyone. He can become friend. He is living within our heart as friend. But we refuse the guidance of such a nice friend. That is our misfortune. Krishna is so kind, so friendly, that you are just like one bird is flying from one tree to another, and another bird is following him. So similarly, we are flying from one body to another. Tatha dehantara prapti. And Krishna does not leave us. He also going with you, just to give you guidance. But we won't give. Just like father, it is very natural. Father naturally wants to guide the son without any motive. That is father's nature. Similarly, Krishna or God, the Supreme Father, is naturally inclined to give us protection. Naturally. Therefore he comes. Krishna comes. Yada yada hi dharmasya glani bhavati. Paritrana sadhuna vinasaya cha duskita. Krishna does two business. First of all, preaching. These rascals who have forgotten Krishna, that we are very intimately related. I am the father of all living entities. So you come to me, come to home, you will be happy. I am not poor, I can provide you with all necessities. Eko jo bahunam vidudhati kama. That one can provide everyone with necessities of life. Actually he is doing what government is doing for the cats and dogs and the ants and the trees. They are not doing anything, rather they are cutting. When there is jungle, for that paper mill, they are cutting all the trees. No protection for the trees. They are all cutting all the throats of the cows and animals for eating. So the government cannot give protection. Nobody can give protection. Only Krishna can give protection. Therefore, we should always seek the protection of Krishna. That is our security, not any other thing. So sweet means, Krishna is sweet. Sweet means who always, trying for our welfare. He comes himself. And even though he cannot, we do not accept. Krishna said, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sarvamati. Manmana bhavavad bhaktavad jaji mang namaskuru. He gives plain advice that you always think of me, become my devotee, offer your respect, obeisances unto me. That will make your life perfect. But we shall not do that. We shall not do that. We shall think of so many other things, but we will never accept thinking of Krishna. We shall become devotees of so many rascals, even of a dog also, but we shall never become devotee of Krishna. This is the position. We are devotee, our master, to our wife, to our children, to our country, to our society. But as soon as you say that you become devotee of Krishna, he is enraged immediately. What nonsense you are speaking. I have got so many work to do. Why shall I become devotee of Krishna? This is the disease. This is the disease. Therefore, Krishna ultimately says that you give up all this nonsense, and if you surrender unto me, then I shall give you protection. Naturally, just like we are preaching Krishna consciousness. We are not devotee to the people in general, then why you are preaching? We are devotee. We are actually devotee, without any motive. Any so-called political leader, he has got some motive when he becomes devotee of the nation. He has got some motive. But we have no such motive. We simply say plainly that you become happy by becoming devotee of Krishna. You are now devotee of your lust, anger, and illusion. You have become devotee of so many things, rascaldom. You simply become devotee of Krishna. Then your problems will be solved. Kamadinam kotidhana kotidha palita dunnidisa. We are devotee somebody, but we are not devotee of somebody. We have got some motive. Just like now it is coming to exposure. So many leaders, they got election, pretending themselves devotee of the nation. In everywhere, not only in your country. But actually they are not devotee of the nation. They were devotee of their own lusty desires. That's all. That if I occupy this post, then I shall be able to fulfill my lusty desires. Nobody is devotee. Devotion is only applicable to Krishna. If somebody is proclaiming himself that I am devotee, servant of my nation, of my society, of my wife, of my children, all false. Here, nobody is devotee. Everyone has got some motive. Even the intimate relationship between husband and wife, there is some motive. The husband has got some motive and the wife has got. As soon as the motive is not fulfilled, divorce. No one. No. Take another chapter. This is going on. You see? This is going on, and therefore, in the name of devotion, in the name of love, in the name of faith, they are trying to satisfy their own senses. This is called illusion. And he will never be happy so long he will try to satisfy his senses. And that is the truth. They will never be happy. Because I have given this example, the parts and parcel of your body. If separately the part and parcel of the body wants to satisfy itself, it will never be satisfied. The only means of satisfaction is that the part and parcel conjointly work and satisfy the stomach, and then it will be satisfied. Similarly, we are part and parcel of Krishna. If we want to satisfy ourselves, our senses independently, we shall never be satisfied. This is the fact. You have to satisfy Krishna, and then you will be satisfied. This is the process. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktivedanta. Because actually the owner is Krishna. I am claiming this is my hand. It is not my hand. It is Krishna's hand. He has given us to use it. So if I don't use it for Krishna, then it will be criminal. It will be criminal. Jagyarthe karmannatro lokayam karma bandha. Simply for Krishna you have to work. And if you work for your sense gratification, then you will be entangled. This is called karma bandha. You will be entangled more and more. Javat mano vai karmanusakta tavat namanchati diha bandha. So long you will be, I mean to say, sense-gratifying minded, because everyone's mind is absorbed in the thought of gratifying his own senses. So long we shall be absorbed in this type of thoughts, then we have to accept a body. Either human body or other bodies. There are 8,400,000 different types of forms and body. So we have got different types of desires also, because we are prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa, we are under the modes of material nature, and the material nature has got the modes, different modes, goodness, passion and ignorance. You mix up these three into 3, it becomes 9, 9 into 9, it becomes 81, 81 and 20, it increases. It increases. Therefore we see so many varieties of life according to the mentality. So if we work on or according to the dictation of the mind, then we become entangled. And if we work under the direct dictation of Krishna, then we become free. This is the process of Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much.
And sometimes he would be kind enough to tell Vishal, give her sweet so she can go and play. Or sometimes I would have to sit through the whole class and then I would get my sweet. I remember there were times when his servants weren't around and I would get to pick up his shoes and help him slip his feet into it. Every evening my mother would make a garland for the lecture. And I was thinking about it when I was that little. I used to feel embarrassed because all these devotees would come with these beautiful, thick, nice garlands. They'd buy the flowers and make these beautiful garlands. And I got this thin little thing that my mom had made with the champa flowers or the mogra from the garden. And when I thought about it, it was actually true. Prabhupada would take the big, heavy ones off and he would leave the thin ones on and he'd be smelling them. So actually he did like that offering. In some of the pictures you see of Bombay, you see he's got that champa garland around his neck. He hasn't taken that one off.
The morning walks were very informal. It's like pretty much whoever wanted to go could go. And a lot of times the devotees were so sick, most of them were under their mosquito nets when Prabhupada took his morning walk. And so I remember one morning Prabhupada was just taking off for his walk. And so Brahmananda, Narnarayan, myself, and Srimati trailed along after him. We came to the gates, those big wooden gates at the front of the property, and they were closed. And this was after Mangal Arti. And Prabhupada became livid. He was so angry. He said, "Why are these gates closed? I've told you these gates must be kept open for Mangal Arti so the villagers can come." He said, "Do you think this Mangal Arti is just for you? No, it's for everyone. You think this Krishna consciousness is just for you?" He was very angry that we were being so self-centered and not thinking about the welfare of the neighboring people.
I remember that in Melbourne he gave me second initiation, and I'd been initiated in 1971 by mail in Hong Kong. So I received one letter and he said, "Your initiated name is Jagajanani Devidasi." And then very shortly after that we received another letter in Hong Kong saying that the name has been changed to Jagatarini because there was already somebody of the name Jagajanani. So I had never received a fire sacrifice for first initiation. So I sat in on the fire sacrifice in Melbourne, and then he gave me second initiation upstairs in his room. Oh, then we all went out to collect Guru Dakshin, which was something new. It was a bit of a novelty. We weren't familiar with that concept then. And I remember going down one street nearby and going shop to shop, and one of the shops that I went into was a butcher's shop, and that man gave more than anyone else. So when I came back I commented on that to Srila Prabhupada, and I said, I'd gone into this butcher's shop. It was a kind of a childish thing to say. And so he said, "Oh, that is very good," and he's very kindly and fatherly. And at the end of that visit to Melbourne, I brought my parents to see Srila Prabhupada. And my mother and father came in, and my mother was very suspicious, she was uncomfortable. But my father was gracious, and so he sat near to Srila Prabhupada, and my mother hovered by the door, and then they gave her a seat and she sat down. And Srila Prabhupada had this blue-coloured type of a couch, French style, chaise lounge or something like that, and he was sitting on that, and he looked so elegant, so genteel, and they both sat down. And then the first thing Srila Prabhupada did was he looked at my father, who was respectful, and he said, "Your daughter will deliver you." And my father was a little embarrassed, I think. He couldn't really understand Srila Prabhupada's accent. So he started sort of laughing nervously, and he said, "Oh yes, we always thought she'd do something like that." And then Srila Prabhupada looked at him quite earnestly and said, "Don't think that she's given up your service." He said, "Because of her, so many generations forward and backward in your family will be delivered because of her." And he went on to explain to him that he had gone so many places in the world, and wherever he went, people thanked him for what he had done for their children, and he'd saved them from so many vices and so forth. And my father was very gentle, and so he was respectful. And afterwards Srila Prabhupada turned to me and said, "Your father is a gentleman." And then my mother, who was also very pious in that sense, but she was nervous, at the very end of that darshan, Srila Prabhupada took this carnation garland with solid, full of carnations, and he took it very gracefully from his neck, and then he asked his servant, "Give this to her." And so they handed her this garland, and she was so taken aback. He was so charming, and she didn't know what to say, and she took that garland home and put it on a plate of water and kept it as on like a vase, in some way, kept it and preserved it as long as she could in appreciation for that visit with him.
This is a lecture Srila Prabhupada's giving at the town hall in Melbourne, Australia. In 1972, the devotees had gone to Melbourne after they had established the temple in Sydney, and they have become quite popular in Melbourne because of elaborate street sankirtan that was performed every day by the devotees in downtown Melbourne. Chiru and Bhai Bobby were there, and Upananda was there, and there was a whole crew of, we called them the ecstasy crew. The ecstasy crew were people that didn't get initiated, but they religiously showed up every day for Sankirtan in downtown Melbourne. So right in the same street where the Melbourne Town Hall was located, the devotees were chanting up and down every day. So when Prabhupada arrived and they had Prabhupada's lecture at Melbourne Town Hall, it was quite widely publicized, and many of the people that had been seeing us on the street every day were there. And there was some hippie gurus that came to see Srila Prabhupada, some famous hippie gurus in Melbourne, and everyone thought that this one hippie guru who would stand on a soapbox every day in downtown Melbourne and various places and preach his own hedonistic philosophy, and he was very quick-witted, so everyone thought that he would come and be able to challenge Srila Prabhupada. So many of his followers came that night also, but Srila Prabhupada quickly philosophically defeated him and humbled him, and he came forward at the end of the lecture and chanted and danced with all of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was very adept at defeating the impersonalists and the hedonists, and this Melbourne Town Hall lecture was quite a grand success for the devotees. It was a large turnout. There was over 2,000 people that came to that, and so it was quite amazing.
For this universe is called Chaturdas Bhuvan, 14 planetary systems. This is called Bhulok. Above this there is Bhuvanlok. Above that there is Janalok. Above that there is Mahalok. Above that there is Satyalok. Above that there is Brahmalok. the highest planetary system. Similarly, down also, we have got Tol, Atol, Talatal, Nital, Patal, Rasatal. This information we get from Vedic literature. 14 worlds. Each and every universe is consisting of these 14 planetary systems. And there are innumerable universes. That we also get information from Brahma Samhita. Jasa prabha prabhavatu jagadanda koti. Jagadanda koti. Jagadanda means this universe is a big, I mean to say, volume, just like pond of egg. Everything, every planet is just like egg. This Brahmanda, this universe is also like egg. So there are many millions of Jagadanda, and in each and every Jagadanda, Kotishu Vasudhadi Vibhuti Bhinnam, there are innumerable planets of. So these are the information we get from Vedic literature. If you like, you can accept. If you don't like, you can reject. That is up to you. Yeah.
I was in a Vancouver temple and I heard that Srila Prabhupada was coming to LA, and I never seen Prabhupada before, so I got very excited and I asked Bagh, which was the temple president, that I wanted to go meet Prabhupada, and he said, if you want to please Prabhupada, you stay here. So I said, okay, Prabhu. And as soon as he left, I ran upstairs to the Brahmachari ashram, and I didn't even take any clothes. I just grabbed my coat and I ran out the back door, and I didn't have any money, and I was in Canada. And so I started hitchhiking, went across the border, got across almost to the end of Washington State the first night, and Prabhupada is arriving the next day around 4 o'clock in LA. So I think it's about 1,000 miles away from LA. As soon as the sun came up, I started hitchhiking, and the first car that came over was a brand new Corvette, and this guy was an Air Force pilot. And he said, where are you going? And I go, I'm going to LA. And he said, jump in. And amazingly enough, he was driving about 120 miles an hour. It was great. It was fun. To make a long story short, he dropped me 2 blocks from the temple from LA, and I got there about 20 minutes before Prabhupada came in, and I ran upstairs, took a shower, put on a dhoti, put on tilak, ran outside into the alleyway, and flowers were showering from the top of the building, and the Prabhupada's car pulled up, and the door got open, and Prabhupada came out. It's the first time I saw him, and his smile was great, and the bodies were jumping up and down, and it was like being in the spiritual world.
I think I was the first devotee widow, the first widow in the movement. And somebody told me that in India you can tell a person's status by how they're dressed, and it was important what you're wearing. And so it would please Srila Prabhupada if I put on all white. So I went to Culver Center and bought tons of white fabric and began wearing white. But I wasn't sure if that was correct. We were new at everything. Nobody knew much about Vedic culture. So I wanted to go before Prabhupada, have him see me in white, and then I felt like I would be able to tell by his reaction. Maybe he would say something or give me a nod or something, make a comment. So I was determined that Prabhupada would see me wearing a white sari. Every time Prabhupada would come to LAX airport, as soon as he walked through the terminal, if you said your obeisances and you really said the full prayer, by the time you stood up, you didn't even get a glimpse of him, especially if you were in a female body, because all the guys would stand in front of you, and you didn't get to see Srila Prabhupada. So I formulated a plan, and I didn't tell anyone. It was my big dream, my big secret, that the next time he was coming to LAX, I would wait at the bottom of the escalator with my daughter, and all the way down the escalator, he might only see me, and he might say something. So that's what I did. I dreamt about it. I planned it. I couldn't wait. And sure enough, I heard he's coming to Los Angeles again. So I did exactly that. I dressed up my daughter. We waited at the bottom of the escalator. It was difficult because the big tumult was upstairs, the big kirtan, but I stood there. And just as it went in my dreams, he came down the escalator, and there was me and Nimai, and he stopped at the bottom of the escalator. And he leaned forward, he took the little bouquet of flowers that we made for him. He looked at me, he saw the white sari, and I got a definite nod of approval. Without a shadow of a doubt, I got the nod of approval. Very pleased nod. And that one nod, the power of Prabhupada's nod, kept me in white for 18 and a half years because of that nod. Meanwhile, what was humorous is the escalator kept going, and so all the sannyasis that were right behind him were getting squished like an accordion.
We were always told that Srila Prabhupada's favorite flower was the yellow rose. So I brought one to the airport to give to him. So he steps off of the mover and comes to the firm ground, and I'm standing there right in front of him. And he looks at me right in the eyes, and I hand him the rose. He takes the rose and gently nods his head and walks on. And for that one moment also, the kirtan, all the devotees and chanting, it just seemed to just be a moment of silence that I got to share with Srila Prabhupada. And just one moment in time that Srila Prabhupada accepting a gift from me lasts a lifetime.
Because all the devotees were coming back from the airport. And I remember